Hello everyone and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, you already know, drop that like and subscribe. That's the only thing that I ask. Today I'll be covering a little bit of some updates that have happened, as well as a few questions from the audience. By the way, if I do forget to answer your question, remind me and I will do so in the next video. So TLT, it started a little bit better today, but it's remaining stable. A little bit green. Let's hope that we can see a little bit more green coming on. It was funny because yesterday I said, basically the crypto has been doing nothing since Thursday. And then yesterday I make a video saying the calm before the storm, are you ready? And 1 hour later, Bitcoin hits new all-time highs. So this is one of the fortunate events because it makes me look much smarter than I really am. But I'll take it. You take what you can get. And it was actually quite funny. The reason why I was a bit hopeful for this week is because if you look at December 2020 cycle, the first 2 weeks of December were actually quite poor as well, just like this cycle. And then things started to accelerate to the upside. So this week is Fed's meeting. I think there's going to be a rate cut, and I think more rate cuts will come because of the sheer size of the debt. Nothing to do with political parties, nothing to do with inflation. Simply impossible to maintain that level of interest expense with the current level of debt. We've covered this ad nauseum here in the channel, but I will just do it very quickly for the new ones. If we would keep interest rates as they are, by January 2026, which would be 12 months after Trump's first year, the interest expense would be close to $2 trillion, which would be around 35 to 40% of the entire tax revenue of the US. Yeah, I don't think so, pal. But we'll see if I'm right on that one or not. I think rate cuts will happen, and will happen in 2025 as well. Now, a few predictions that I've made here in the channel. A while ago, I've said that I expected when Ethereum was 2,400, I said Ethereum should be above 5,000 before the end of the year, maximum mid-January, so we have about a month at the worst to go. I still think end of December is likely, but once again, I don't expect people to believe it. It will become, as I've mentioned before, it will become obvious as we move forward. I've also made another prediction, which was when you compare Ethereum and Solana after, let's say, end of October, November, into the end of the cycle, Ethereum will outperform. At the moment, Ethereum is up versus Solana in the past 3 months around 6%, and it's up 25% in the past month. Now, this is not Ethereum versus the dollar or Solana versus the dollar. This is Ethereum versus Solana. Is this because I hate Solana? No, I've said this many times before. I want crypto in general to succeed. More success, more eyes, more money. Then we can have our teams. But this is the principle of the NBA that I've mentioned before. First, let's have them watch the game. Then we can have our teams. If nobody's watching the game, then it doesn't really matter which team you're on, right? Nobody's making any money. That was always my principle. So that's why I don't buy these wars, PDI versus EX and this kind of, and Ethereum versus Solana and XRP versus everything else. I mean, I don't buy that kind of stuff. I want everything to succeed. The reason why I picked Ethereum over Solana is literally everybody and their mother, all the big influencers, all the big channels, all the big X people, all the big traders, everybody was long Solana, and Ethereum was finished and killed, right? I made a prediction, like a tougher prediction, as soon as Crypto Banter said that he was ending his 4-year toxic and abusive relationship with Ethereum, and he sold all his Ethereum. Now he's already backpedaling, saying, oh, I didn't sell all my Ethereum. Oh, I've always liked Ethereum. So as I also predicted, I think he will come back and saying, oh, no, I always liked Ethereum. I don't know what you guys are talking about. We'll see. So what you need right now is you need people to be convinced that Ethereum is going to make a new all-time high, and it's here to play for the rest of the cycle. Then the ERC20 tokens will pump to the moon. This is why when people ask me, why aren't you in Solana meme coins? Why are your lottery tickets in Ethereum, etc.? I said, my lottery tickets are in Ethereum because Ethereum has underperformed. When Ethereum outperforms, then it will rise then you know the common saying of a wave rises all boats, right? A tide rises all boats. So basically, when Ethereum really starts to outperform and people get convinced, okay, Ethereum is here to play, Ethereum is back, Ethereum is, as soon as people start to get convinced of it, then a lot of money will flow into Ethereum and it will raise all the ERC20 tokens. Why? Because they are all liquidity bonded to Ethereum. Their main pair in the chain is whatever, Andy versus Ethereum. So if Ethereum goes up, since you can swap Andy for Ethereum, then Andy also gets carried up. That's it. There's no big magician. There's no big people under, master puppeteers or anything. It's just how liquidity works and how liquidity bonding works. So that's why I like Ethereum. That's why I like Hoppy, Boppy, Andy. You guys already know, right? And I like PDAI, I like 7G, I like PulseSpot, and Pulse Launch on the PulseChain. You guys already know this. I've covered this ad nauseum. Now, there was a question about what do I think about EX, right? Ethereum X or X on Ethereum. So this is what I've said in the past. It's been many, many months ago. So during the fork, I had both. So I got both EX and both PX. So I was kind of protected in the sense that I have exposure to both things, including E-Edron, P-Edron, E-ICOSA, P-ICOSA, right? So I got the copies of everything. But then what I said at the time was, I don't think they will be at parity, 1-to-1. I think anything different than 1 PX for 2 EX, I think is a good trade to go for PX. Now, obviously, if you get to a point like we were recently, in which 1 PX equals 10 EX, then maybe not very smart to be buying PX at that moment or swapping one for the other. In my view, I always had the same opinion. For newcomers, if the price is not so different between the two of them, PX makes much more sense to me because the fees are much cheaper. That was the point of creating PulseChain. Is Ethereum fees are super expensive, particularly when you accelerate in the bull market and it becomes impossible to basically deal well with X for the majority of people. So PX was a solution to it. Nothing special. That was the purpose of the creation of PulseChain. Now, like everything in life, this is a matter of, is it cheap or not? So and of course, EX has BankX selling it consistently, which PX doesn't have that problem. Also, BankX doesn't have that much Ethereum X left. But in any case, it had that selling pressure over time. A lot of people are saying that 1 PX could never be to EX. Well, it got to 1-to-10, right? So all those people were completely wrong. The reason why I was saying for newcomers, if the ratios were not very, very different, I preferred PX because, well, it's native to the PulseChain and it's much cheaper to transact, right? I don't have even myself, I don't have $5,000 to end the stake, right? I mean, it's crazy, like Ethereum, when you're being charged in Ethereum. And then the argument was always, in my view, very stupid, in the sense of, X on Ethereum is much more accessible to people because most people don't know how to bridge, don't know how to do this or to do that. Okay, what if PX gets listed on Binance or on Coinbase or on Kraken? Then your entire argument for EX disappears. See what I mean? So in my view, I think both of them will do very well. I think EX was extremely oversold very recently, so I think it had a very good, it was at a very good price, as I've mentioned, because I was already heavy on both. And I also had the derivatives, because in my mind, if X does very well, ICOS and Edron do even better. I was fine with not accumulating more X. But what I've noticed is super funny. Before PulseChain came out, everybody predicted PLS to be the best performing one. It's been the worst. Nobody predicted incentive token to do anything good. It did the best. Everybody gave up on EX. EX is doing very well. See what I mean? So then everybody was predicting incentive token to do extremely well because it did before, and now it was doing the worst. So my point is the crowd is always wrong. So in that sense, I think EX will do fine. I think it will do very well. I think anything underneath 1px to 3ex, I would rather go for px, but that's me. Look, maybe by the end of the cycle, ex outperforms everything and I look like an idiot. This is the good part, is that I own all of them, so I don't really care. Now, there was another question, which was for the 4 RH stickers, by which month will they do a 10x? Look, I don't know. I mean, I'm more concerned about end of the cycle. I'm not so much concerned about, is it going to be February? Is it going to be March? Is it going to be April? You need to understand the reason why I come up with these predictions for Bitcoin. For example, Bitcoin before the end of November will be well above 80K. This was during the Japanese debacle when Bitcoin was 48K and everybody was predicting Bitcoin 30K and all of this crap. The reason why I say Bitcoin well above 80K is because I have a long-term chart and long-term cycles that I can work with. Ethereum is the same thing. So that's why I've been very accurate with those two. For new coins, it's much harder. Like, for example, I know that coins will have 85% drops, like Andy, from 320 million to 48 million, back up to 354 million. So I knew about that. I knew that you're going to have 84% drops. I know you're going to have a 60% drop, 65% drops. I'm very convinced that by late March, early April, you're going to see big sell-off starting in Bitcoin that's going to last probably until August. And then you're going to have August, September, and a little bit of October for a big hoorah moment in Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I think, will top in the first half of October or late September. I think Ethereum will top a little bit afterwards, and altcoins a little bit afterwards as well. That's the most I can say. Now, I wouldn't be surprised, for example, that Richard pumps his coins during the Bitcoin sell-off. So you create the narrative of we are not correlated with Bitcoin once again, like is done in the previous cycle, with X. So when Bitcoin went from 65,000 May 2021 to 29,000, X went up 30x, creating the idea in people's minds that X was decorrelated from crypto. I wouldn't be surprised if Richard does that again. I don't know. I think PulseX, incentive token, and X have the potential to do at least 50x from here. Will it do 30x? Possible. Will it do 20? Possible. Will it do 100? Also possible. Will it do 300? Also possible. I don't know. But if it does a 50x, I can retire. See what I mean? I don't need 1,000, 10,000x. I think that's the big difference between me and many of the others. I think those were the questions that people had for me. I think another question was about if I thought Ethereum was good. No, I think Ethereum will top in September, October, same thing as Bitcoin. What you need to see, what I can guess, is the narratives. So the narrative for Bitcoin will be Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million. That's going to be the main narrative, I think, because that's the only way you convince people to buy Bitcoin at 200K, right? Ethereum, the narrative will be Ethereum will flip Bitcoin. So I think there's going to be a time where Ethereum is going to be close to flipping Bitcoin, maybe a 2x away, something like that. And that's going to be the narrative. That's what pushes Ethereum a little bit further. Something like if Ethereum hits 50K, it flips Bitcoin. Or if Ethereum hits 75K, it flips Bitcoin. So they come up with a scenario where Ethereum is going to go to the previous all-time high of Bitcoin at least. That's how you can get 25K Ethereum. I've made this prediction from 2023. Bitcoin to end up the cycle between 242,000 and 276,000, and Ethereum to finish the cycle somewhere between 24 or 25 and 29,000. It's been my prediction since 2023. I haven't changed anything. In the past, I was a complete lunatic. Now I'm starting to be called names for being too conservative. And I'm going to be called names when I say, I think this is the top. I'm okay with it. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to have money from you. I don't care. Finally, in this video, I want to say something very important. A lot of things will become obvious in short time frames. People will believe on everything, as soon as the green candles move high enough. Understand this. Not everything moves at the same time. By the way, just because I say Ethereum will outperform Solana, I don't mean Solana is going to go down. I mean Solana will still go up in dollar terms, but in my view will go up less versus Ethereum. But that's it. That's all that means. Final point of attention to everyone. Be careful with scams. Now, scams will multiply. Scams will come in new forms. Scams will be very prevalent on YouTube. The most famous one is very simple. It is to call 10 coins per day. Then one of them does very well. Talk only about that one and use it to sell courses and private groups to people. This is the easiest and the most obvious that people make. Also, I've been trying to remove all of these comments, but I'm not full-time YouTuber, right? So when people say something like this, thank you very much for your video. Hey, can you help me with my, I have a wallet in TRC20 with TRC20s, or I have a wallet with OKX, and this is my, these are my 12, this is my private key. Then they put some words, pretending it's their private key for their wallet. These are scams. I remove them immediately on site. However, I've been targeted like crazy. Just today, I think I deleted 70 plus comments. So please be aware. If you see comments like this that start with, thank you very much for your video. Hey, on a different subject, can you help me with my wallet? I have a problem. Here is my seed word, blah, blah, blah. This is a scam. So I know that this part of the video is very boring to you, but I hope that you understand this and you don't fall. I would hate it that you come to my video, watch my video, and somehow you end up getting scammed. And with that, thank you very much for your support, guys. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Congratulations, Bitcoin, above 107,000, and have some fun looking at Peter Schiff's X profile or Twitter profile. The cope is legendary. Thank you very much.